Hello. In this video, we will use angle addition, adjacent angle, complementary, supplementary angles, linear pairs, and vertical angles to find values of unknown measures. So yeah, those are the angles we're going to talk about. So let's talk about complementary angles. So whenever they say complementary angle, it just means two positive angles whose sum is 90 degrees. So yeah, 90 degrees. Supplementary are two positive angles whose sum is 180. So whenever they supplementary are usually related to straight lines. So if this is a straight line, this adds up to 180 degrees. Okay. And complementary adds up to 90 and it usually has that box symbol. Okay, what about adjacent? Two angles in a plane that have the common vertex. So two angles in a plane that have a common vertex and a common side, but no common interior points. That would be an adjacent. And then a linear pair is two adjacent angles that have their non-common side. Excuse me. So a linear pair is two adjacent angles that have their non-common side on the same line. So if you look in this example, angle one and angle two are also supplementary, right? Angle one and angle two, when you add them up, they are supplementary. They add up to 180. And then ray BA and ray BC are opposite. Okay. And then the next angle we're going to talk about is vertical angles. So basically two non-adjacent angles formed by two intersecting lines or opposite rays. Vertical angles are congruent. So I like to think of it as like that crisscross. Here's uh yeah, here you have two lines, right? And let's call this line M, let's call this line L. Angle one is congruent to angle three because of these, they are vertical. They make that these crisscross. And then angle two is congruent to angle four because they are vertical. So basically, those crisscross things, that's how you know you have two vertical angles. And yes, they are congruent. Um, Here's an example. You have two intersecting lines. Right? This is one intersecting line and this is the other. And then we have angle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 4. Why is that? Is because they're vertical. Vertical, yeah, they're vertical. Okay. And so yeah, vertical lines, that's, yeah, this is an example because the vertical lines crosses two intersecting lines. So yeah. So here we have an example. It's like in 3D. And we have angle 1 and 2, 3, 4. We have five different angles, right? And we got it. So the first question states, name two adjacent angles to 4. So name two adjacent angles to angle 4. Here's angle 4. What are two adjacent angles? It would be 3 and 5. Right? What are adjacent angles again? It is angles in a plane that have a common vertex and a common side, but no common interior point. So if you look at our example, the common side is this ray. So that is why two adjacent angles to angle 4 are angle 3 and angle 5. Okay, number 2, name two linear pairs. So linear pairs basically add up to 180. Look, yeah. So two adjacent angles that have their non-common side on the same line. And they add up to 180 and they're not congruent. So an example would be, if you look at our image, uh, Basically, just look at a straight line. I see a straight line here. So a linear pair would be angle 3 and angle 2. They're not congruent, but they do add up to 180. And what else is another linear pair? So think of a straight line. So I see a straight line right here, right? This is a straight line. So that would be another linear pair would be angle 1 and angle 2. Okay. Okay, good. Number 3, are angle 1 and angle 3 vertical angles? Yes, right? Cross they must directly cross two intersecting lines. So are angle 1 and angle 3 vertical angles? Yes, because they must be because they must be directly across two intersecting lines. Right, that is definitely true. Um, yeah. So if you look at angle 1 and 3, they cross two intersecting lines. So it would be this is one of the intersecting line, and then this is the other. Okay. What about 4? Are angle 2 and angle 4 vertical angles? Just looking at it, it's not because they don't have it doesn't make that crisscross, but most importantly, no, since angle 2 is opposite from the other two angle. So they're asking is angle 2 and 4 here vertical angles? No, they're not. So you could say no. Since angle 2 is opposite from two other angles. Okay. 5, if angle 1 is 35 and if angle 1 is 35 and angle 1 and 5 are complementary, find angle 5. So I don't even have to look at the image. I mean, you could. So angle 1 is 35. So if you look at our image, angle 1 is going to be 35 degrees, and angle 1 and angle 5 are complementary, meaning they add up to 190 degrees. I definitely can see that. So what should angle 5 be? It's just going to be 90 minus 35, which is, so here, let me set it up. We know that angle 1 plus angle 5 are complementary, so that equals 90. And then angle 1 is 35 plus angle 5. And then subtract 35 from both sides. 90 minus 35 is 55. Okay, let's do 6. If angle 1 is 350 and angle 2 are supplementary, find angle 2. Is that right? No, that's a mistake. Angle 1 is not 350 degrees, it's 35 degrees. That's much better. So if angle 1 is 35 and angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary, find angle 2. So what that means is supplementary means they add up to 180. So you could say angle 1 plus angle 2. Now note, angle 1 does not equal to angle 2 because supplementary does not mean congruent, right? It just means they add up to 180 and angle 1 is 35. I don't know what angle 2 is. And then solve for angle 2 by subtracting 35 from both sides, right? So I get angle 2 is going to be 180 minus 35, which is 145. Okay, angle 2 is 145 degrees. Okay, 7. If angle 3 is 40 degrees and angle 1 and angle 5 are complementary, find all other angles. Okay, so if angle 3 is 40, if angle 3 is 40 degrees, what I think they want is, they don't want this image, they want to go back to this image right here. Okay. Okay, so number 7 says if angle 3 is if angle 3 is 40 degrees and angle 1 and angle 5 are complementary, so that adds up to 90. Uh, find all other angles. So here, let me write it out. So this is number 7. I'm going to put it right here. So they're saying that if angle 3 is 40, find angle 1 and 5. So angle 1 plus angle 5 is 90 degrees. And angle 1 is, okay, so looking at angle 3 and the relationship between angle 1, what can you say? They are vertical, right? You could say that angle 3 is congruent to angle 1 because they are vertical, right? So we have another angle. So we know that angle 1 is also 40 degrees. So you just found angle 5 already. Okay, so angle 5, you just subtract 40 from both sides. You get angle 5 is 90 minus 40 is 50. Okay, so angle 5 is 50, and then what else do we know? So what? So we want to know the other angles. Do we know what angle 2 is? Well, we know that angle 1 is, so we know that angle 1 is going to be 40 degrees. But do we know what angle 2 is? Because we got to find the other angles. Kind of, yes. What's the relationship between angle 1 and angle 2? They are supplementary. So we can say that angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180 degrees. So angle 1 is 40. Angle 1 is 40 plus angle 2 equals 180. Subtract 40 from both sides. And I get angle 2 is 180 minus 40 is 140 degrees. Okay, now what? What else do we know? We know the angle 1, blah, blah, blah. So we have angle 1, we have angle 5, we have angle 2, we have angle 3, And what else do we know? We know that angle 1 is 40. What other angles we're missing? We have 1, we have 2, we have 5, we have 3. Now, how do you find angle 4? Um, yes, how do you find angle 4? So I see a straight line here, right? This is a straight line. So if you add up all these angles, so if you add up this angle, and this angle, that forms a straight line. So you could say that angle 3 plus angle 4 plus angle 5 is going to add up to 180 degrees. We know some of these angles. We know that angle 3 is 40. We know that angle 4 is, I don't know what angle 4 is, right? And then I know that angle 5 is 50 equals 180. So 40 plus 50 is 90. Is 180. Subtract 90 from both sides. And then angle 4 is 180 minus 90, which is 90 degrees. Okay. So we just finished question 7. Question 7 is, we know that we could say that angle 1 is 40 degrees. Angle 2 is 140. Angle 4 is 90. Sorry. Angle 5 is 50. And angle 3 is congruent to angle 1, so angle 3 is 40 degrees as well. Okay, those are all your angles. Okay, that was number 7. Number 8, if angle 1 and angle 5 are complementary, and angle 1 is 5x plus 8, and angle 5 is x plus 4, find x. So they just want to find x. So you don't even have to look at the image. I could see that angle 1 and angle 5 are complementary, so they add up to 90. So you could say x angle 1 is angle 5 is equal to 90. And we know that angle 1 is 5x plus 8 plus angle 5 is x plus 4 equals to 90. Like terms, 5x plus 1x is 6x. Plus 4 is 9, 10, 11, 12 equals to 90. And then solve for x, so you just subtract 12 from both sides. You get 6x equals 90 minus 12 is 78. And solve for x, so divide this by 6. You get x equals 13. So they just want to find out what x is, and x is 13. Okay, next example. So this line, we have to find the values of the variables. So we just have to solve for x, right? On number 9, we have to solve for x. And what can you conclude about these two angles? Yes, they are vertical because they intersect two intersecting lines, right? So these two angles are congruent. So you could say 105 equals to 2x minus 11. And then you solve for x, so you're going to add 11 to both sides. 116 equals to 2x. Divide this by 2. I get 116 divided by 2 is 58. And yeah, we're fine. We found what x is, so that's 58. Okay, let's move on to 10. So in 10, we have also two vertical two vertical angles, right? So this angle is congruent with this. So you can say that 3x plus 20 equals to 5x minus 50. And then you just solve for x. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. Let's cancel. So you're left with 20 equals to 5x minus 3x is 2x. 2x minus 50. Solve for x, so you're going to add 50 to both sides. So 20 plus 50 is 70. Plus 2x. Divide this by 2, which is 35. So x is 35. Okay, number 11, find x and y. So did I do this right? Yes. Number 11, we have two vertical angles. We know that this angle here is congruent with this angle, and then this angle here is congruent with this angle, right? So you kind of set it up. You're going to say 2y plus 28 equals to 3x minus 5, comma, and then this angle here is going to be 4x plus 10 equals to 4y plus 26. Okay, so we kind of have a problem. We can't really solve this, right? That we have two different letters. Like if you look at this equation, we have a y and an x. There's no way that'll work. Same thing with this equation, different letters. So what do we do? Well, use what we know. I know that if you add up this angle here, right? This is a straight line right here. Do you see the straight line? What do we know about straight lines? They add up to 180. So if you add up this angle plus this angle, they form up to 180. So you could say 4x plus 10 plus 3x minus 5 equals 180. Collect like terms, 4x plus 3x is 4, 6, 7x. And then what's 10 minus 5? 5. It's 180. And then subtract 5 from both sides. You get 7x equals to 180 minus 5 is 175. Divide this by 7. You get x equals to 25. Okay, now that we have x, we can plug it in back into your equation to solve for y. So if I plug it here, this would be 2y plus 28 equals to 3 times x minus 5. 3 times 25 is 75, minus 5 is 70. And then you have 2y plus 28, subtract 28 from both sides. So you get 2y equals to 70 minus 28 is 42. Divide this by 2, and I get y equals to 42 divided by 2 is 21. Inbox it. And then over here, oh, I think we found our answers. X equals 25 and Y is equals to 21. Okay. Good. Okay. So that was that example. Let's move on. This is the last example. No. Okay. So example 12. What do we know? We got to solve for X and Y. So I know use what we know. We know that 56 is congruent to 7x because they are congruent. So you can say 56 equals to 7x. Solve for x by dividing both sides by 7. And I get x equals to 56 divided by 7, which is 8. Okay. Now, what else do we know? We got to solve for y. So this one has, here's y. What can we do? Well, I see that if you add up these three angles, 56, y, and 2x, they form a straight line that equals 180. So you could say 56 plus y plus 2x equals 180. And we know that x is 8, so it's going to be 56 plus y plus 2 times 8 equals 180. So it's 56 plus y. And then 2 times 8 is 16. Is 180. 56 plus 16 is 72. Plus y equals 180. Subtract 72. And we get y equals to 180 minus 72, which is 108. Okay, so we have what y is, we have what x is. Okay, so this was, yep, that's the last example for that video.